All right, so welcome back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video, and today I don't have that much time, so we're gonna talk about Lord Slug, the yellow one out of set 19. It's a kind of a weird leader and a little bit of a homage to the red King Piccolo and maybe even the green King Piccolo that we have had in the previous sets. His leader effect is that you start out with 6 life. Why they did that, I have no idea. It has a good amount of defense, I guess. That's probably why. But when you do have a Slug's Army card or a combo cost of 1 and it'll leave your battle area, you can place into your Z energy instead, and then you can place one of your Z energy to the owner's drop afterwards. You get to pitch a Slug's Army when you attack and draw 2, and then when you awaken at 2 or less, or if your opponent has 2 energy and you have 2 Z energy with Slug's Army, you get to draw 2 and then untap 1 and then rejuvenate. You end up putting 1 card from your top of your deck on top of your life. The awakened side is pretty much the same for the permanent. It's just that you discard 1 and then draw 2 for Slug's Army. And then the activate battle is that you use one of your Slug's Army mono yellow and then or combo cost of 1 from your drop and negate the skills for the turn. So basically you get a free, well, not free, but a 1 cost combo from your drop area in order to enable all the things that you have afterwards. And there are a good amount of cards in this archetype that actually call for combo cost of 1. Which is kind of annoying because your hand is going to have a lot of combo cost of 1. I will say that you will need to take your time with this deck. You will have to kind of slow roll in this not very slow rolly format. So I kind of suggest to play the deck and then find your outs when you can. All right, let's take a look at the deck list. And I thought it was just better just to sort it out by the energy cost, because there are some familiar cards in here, right? So we have like the Lord Slug that draws you 1. You can pay 1, obviously not to do this. You'll never do that, but to play a 3 or less Slug's Army from your hand. And pretty much that is most of your deck. The best targets for that are going to be the Slug that everyone knows and loves, where it has barrier and it has bond 2. They can't add any cards from their deck into your hand, which really helps against Gogeta and even Red Sin, because you're probably going to be able to do this, especially if you're going to be running Assimilate, which we'll get into other cards in a second. And as well as these 1 costs. So these 1 costs are probably my favorite cards out of the deck. This one is the barrier, or both of them have barrier, but this one is the look of the top 3, which is less good versus the other that just draws you 1. You add it to your hand and the rest of it gets placed in the bottom of the deck. You can combo this from your battle area, which and my thing is that you play this for first, like any of these guys first, and then you play the War Slug, and then you play Super Namekian on the turn 2. They basically have to swing into the Namekian to get rid of it, or have barrier removal, which on the ban, unless it's a best of 3, they're not going to have. So these guys are great because you get to play a yellow Slug Army cost of energy cost of 3 and combo cost of 1 from your hand. So that becomes the villainous threat that you can pop something in rest mode, gains 5k as a 25k double striker on turn 2 or whatever you might want to do. If your leader card is a yellow Slug, when this card is using the combo from your drop, you can't do that, but you can do it with the Angelita, or you can pay 1. You get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode that isn't attacking and KO it, which is pretty useful, to be honest. I think this is probably the best target outside of the Super Namekian that you can use. So both of these cards again have barrier. This guy draws you 1. This one instead, you pay 1. So you can combo on either turn. Look at the top 10 cards. 10 cards is crazy. Energy cost of 3 and combo cost of 1. And if you played 1, you shuffle 1 back into your deck, which probably is going to be one of these 1 costs, because this 3 costs here, when it attacks, you play up to 1 Slug's Army from the energy cost of 1 for your deck and shuffle your deck and gains 5k for the turn. Same thing, gets 5k battle. So that's cool, being a 15k, I guess. But again, this is what you want to do. You either want to get this guy out to play another one of these guys, because you can, you can play another one of those guys to draw you 1, or to draw or look at the top 3 and play these guys, and then continue to play Lord Slug threats afterwards, which is why, again, you want to use or have as many as these 3 costs 1 combo here throughout your deck, which again can get a little clunky, but these are the best targets that I know of, if anything. Then we have some of these extra cards that we're kind of bouncing around that enables the Mecha Frieza to be played, which is going to be what your mid to late game is, what you want to do, especially if they're going to be swinging into your Super Namekian, or you're going to be using Gohan Whistles, which is a counterattack if your life is at 3 or less, and you have Bond, which is pretty easy in this deck. You get to use it for free. And the limit one is that you minus 5k one of your Lord Slug cards. So you can be your leader, you can be Super Namekian, you can be a villainous threat that's not even doing anything, just chilling there. And then you could do negate the attack, switch one of their 4 or less, and switch to rest mode. So that is really nice. I actually really like this. Plus, you can combo villainous threat if you really wanted to. And then from your, I keep saying from drop, but your Z Awakened leader gets to use it from your hand in a combo. So if you do that, you can use villainous threat with Gohan Whistles and then pop something if you really wanted to. Cling to Life is tight. I like Cling to Life. Basically, it's a 1 cost activate battle bean, so you choose one of your Slug's army cards. So you can be the Super Namekian, it can be villainous threat on your turn or their turn, and then if it's your opponent's turn, you get to use one of your Slug's army combo cost from your hand with a combo cost of 1 in a combo. So this is probably going to be the best way to use the cards in your hand that have the energy cost of 1 for the combo cost. You play the Krillin Moments of Film comeback. Even though you get to rejuvenate 1, you're going to be at 4 or less pretty often, and you want to be at 3 because of Gohan Whistles, because of your Z energy, or your Z leader, I should say, all of those reasons. We do have Gohan, which is a GDR, the Gohan rare, where these effects are like whatever. If your leader card is yellow, your life is at 4 or less, which is going to be when the opponent's card is switched to rest mode, you get to play it from your hand for 1. Which is cool, I guess. So 15k attacker. When it's played, their opponent plays a non-barrier battle card which costs a 5 or more this turn, and just plays in rest. It enters play. Oh wait, I said that right. So it doesn't affect Gogeta, but it does affect things like the 8-drop Red Sin. So it's kind of a poutine, which I don't play poutine in this. I think you can play poutine. Honestly, I would probably, in the final one, when you click the link below, you'll probably see poutine in it anyway. I think 54 is fine because you end up going through your deck pretty quickly. But the biggest thing is that when it's added to your Z energy, you get to choose up to one of your battle card or opponent's battle cards and 6 or less in rest mode and KO it. That is such a game changer for 1 in yellow. All you really need to do is just combo this, and then you pay 1 and you get to KO something, which is sick. Just an awesome card in general. And because of the permanent for this leader, you get to remove it after you use it and then just replace it with a Lord Slug. So that way you have these other effects that it's calling for, which again, for this one, you need 3 energy cost of 3 and a combo cost of 1 and Gila in your Z energy, and you get to play it for 1. It's a bond 2 with the barrier. It's a 16k barrier blocker, and then when you activate the barrier or blocker, you draw 1 and then you switch one of their opponent's battle cards to rest mode, which this in tandem with Super Namekian or one of the 1 cost, it just gets really annoying for them. And all you really need to do is just get one of these 3 costs into the Z energy. You only play 2. You can play 3 if you really wanted to, but honestly, it doesn't really come up as much as you think. We have the 5 cost here. You get to pay 2. You have 3 or more energy and a Lord Slug with energy cost of 3 and 1. You get to play it for 2, play it for 1, and then use your Mono Yellow Slug's army card with energy cost of 1 or combo cost of 1 from your drop and negated skills for the turn. So you get to be a 20k attacker, dual attacker twice, and you get Z energy afterwards. So you're going to be racking those up. The bond with the double strike isn't too bad. Bond 2 is easier with these barrier cards, but bond 3 is a little harder, especially since this guy doesn't have barrier. I think that really covers most of it. Again, you really want to play these 1 costs, get into the 3 costs here to play more 1 costs. The Villainous Threat is just an awesome card in general. And then you have all these extra cards in yellow just to be very annoying. And that really comes down to what this deck is. We do have Surrounding the Possible only to get down to 3. I think you only need to run 1, to be honest, and just throw it into Oolong or someone else. But Oolong is great. I don't play cooler in this because it just seems like not really a cooler deck. I think it's more of a deck where you're like just swinging with stuff and just and hope for the best. But really, it's for the secret rare. So you play the secret rare for free basically, and then as long as it lives, you get to play Oolong afterwards, and then just swing another 40k. If you want to play cooler, you can. I just personally haven't really been in the I guess my play style. I didn't really need cooler or feel like it was like, yeah, I need a cooler here, but then I die in the next turn if I don't win. But Gamma 2 is interesting because if you have a villainous card in play, you can have no specified cost. Doesn't really matter in yellow, but when it's played, you get to choose one villainous card and place it in owner's drop. If you do, this gains 10k in double strike. So basically the other villainous cost, you can place it in the drop, get it back into your Z energy with one of the effects like Slug or something else, and then now you have a 20k attacker. And then activate main, you place one card at the bottom of the deck, and you remove this card from the game until the end of the turn. Your opponent activates villainous or a counter skill, you draw one, which is not that bad. You have a lot of attackers, they're going to be countering sometime or not. Even counterplaying would be pretty cool too. Now this Goku, it's a bane of my existence, honestly. It's such a annoying card. It's such a really good card with Super Namekian or really any of these other cards, honestly. It's just more rest hate, like when you know they can't swing with their leader. This has barrier and 25k. You get to have another target for them to attack while this is in rest mode, and it's just really good. I can't really say too much about it. We kind of already know the card. Now this Z Awakened Leader for Lord Slug is not too bad, I would say. You have to be a 3 or less. I wish it was 4, but that's not too big of a deal, I guess. You get to 3 pretty quickly, especially between surmounting the impossible and as well as Frieza army reinforcements. The bond 3 is cool because it's in tandem with the bond 3 over here, and it's nice to have a 20k leader that goes to 30 with double strike, so you can end the game pretty quickly with that. Another reason to play cooler. So again, Poochie and cooler probably going to come into this. When it attacks, draw 1, and then you get to use a mono yellow Slug's army card from your drop, negate the skills from the turn. So it's pretty cool. I really do like this Z leader. It's really defensive and offensive, and it doesn't take too much for that 1 energy and 2 Z energy. Just gotta be careful what you place in the drop, or if you don't be careful, you're just gonna be using it with these effects anyway. Now these sideboard deck cards, these are more cards of like for your consideration, right? So Assimilate is great if you played more of the super combos that had Namekian. Probably be playing it. Lord Slug Evil Innovator is pretty much the only target for this, so I don't really recommend it, but it does enable your Mecha Frieza pretty early, so there you go. And Dila, I don't play it because I thought it was ass, but it's not bad actually. The 1 cost blocker that gets becomes a 15k blocker. Just doesn't have any protection. You get to look at the top 7, get a Lord Slug army card, energy cost of 5 or less from your hand, and then you get to bottom deck a card or place one of your battle cards, which I just didn't like that that requirement, especially since you're going to be using this for other better Z battle cards like these guys. But I guess it's not too bad. I think if you just minus this amounting to get another Anguilla, that's not too bad. Final Flash, I don't know what happened to Final Flash. Like, did it get like bad or something? Is that just me? Someone tell me in the comments. But it's just another card. It's just ignores barrier and removes skills, and it prevents you from dying sometimes. So not too bad, honestly. Wings would be cool. I really like the 2 Z energy requirement that you can draw 1 for a super combo, but there's not really that many searchers for these guys. Like this guy gets to look at the top 3 and gets a Lord Slug, but honestly, that is pretty much it. If it was more searchable, I would probably play like a 2 of for that, especially if I wasn't playing the super combo SCR. Oh, Villainous Threat, Golden Frieza. I really like this card because it's a 1 cost negate and it triggers Villainous. So like this guy is probably gonna be there for a minute. And then you can just get to negate with the Frieza. If I had more room, or if I didn't really care about the archetype, I would probably play 4 of both and just like swing for the heavens like that. Like these guys are, this guy's cool because it's just like a 15k attacker. So you're just playing stuff on their turn, both this Mega Frieza and as well as this Frieza. Both of them are really cool just to have multiple attackers. This guy's cool because it's just a successor. and the bond effect is nice because they can't swing with them. So like in the format where like Blue Gohan is just putting out stuff for pretty cheap, especially the dual attackers, or Red Sin, or anybody else that doesn't have barrier, this guy is not bad. This guy is really not bad because you can do it every turn that they don't remove it. So pretty cool. Steadfast, I really wanted to play, but it just like never came up. Like either you can use the counterplay, but then it get removed immediately, or like everything has deflect. So I just don't like it. Pan is cool if you use Goku, but this is the only 2 cost Z battle card. So like this effect is just null and void. I used to think it was just any battle card, but I forgot it's for the Gohan archetype. So that just feels bad. Meta Matcha is cool. You get to play a token. It's a 5k combo. But you need bond 4, which is just laughable, to get a 15k tool attacker for whatever reason. It's just kind of stupid, honestly. It's a dumb card. Lord Slug, I never played this thing, man. Like the fact that you need 2 slug cards in your Z energy feels kind of bad, but it is possible. And like if you really think about it, like if you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I want to play this 8-drop, then it's very much possible. But it doesn't have deflect, doesn't have barrier. And the 2 Lord Slug cards that you play from your deck, I don't know if it's worth the 3 energy that you spend. So there you go. Lord Slug. It's good against cool stuff. It's very cool stuff. So it's good against like stuff that isn't playing 8-drop Gogeta, I guess. It's good against anything that plays a lot of battle cards. It's good against things that require draw. It is a very annoying deck once you learn it and become annoying. I don't think it's like a Nats contender, but it is something that like people are gonna like. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people might, you know, give it a chance and be like, hey, I think I really like this this deck, and they're gonna be really good at it. I don't know if it's like the next Android 16 type thing, but I think it's really good as far as like on a playable sense. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.